Hello, my name is Sev Tok, and I'm going to tell you about the ET contact that changed my life. It was September 2017, and I had just moved here to the Inner Banks of North Carolina from Capitol Hill, Washington, D.C., and I came here with my partner at the time. It was the second morning that we were here. I was in the kitchen unpacking dishes, and I felt something bite my butt, and it hurt like a bug bite. So I yelled over to him, "I think a bug bit my butt. Will you look at it?" And he said, "Yeah." So I walk over to the living room, and I'm giggling because I think this is funny. And I pull down my shorts and I bend over, and he's looking and he's not saying anything. And I'm waiting, and there's just silence. And I'm starting to get nervous, and I have the gut feeling that something's wrong. And I also have this strange, illogical feeling that it has something to do with aliens. So finally, well, did something bite my butt? And he says, yeah, and there's also a red X. A red X. And he shows me the picture, and we're both stunned. And I knew right away that it was the Greys, and back then I didn't like the Greys. I thought they were evil. I thought they were victimizing me. I thought they were taunting me. I thought they were mean. I don't think like that about them anymore. Now I see that the Greys were helping me, but back then I couldn't see that because I was looking at everything through the lens of victimization. That's how I was viewing my life, so that's how I was viewing my ET contact. Now that I don't look at life through the lens of victimization, I can now see that the Greys were helping me the whole time. But back then, I was very afraid of them. I'm looking at this red X that's on my left cheek of my tush. And when I ran my finger across it, I couldn't feel it. And it was 9 small red dots that looked like they were burned into my skin, and they're equidistant. And the X was about 1.5 inches or 2 inches big. So we're both looking at each other stunned, and I said to him, "We're going to ignore this. We're going to pretend like this never happened. We're going to pretend like we never saw a red X on my tush." And he's looking at me like I'm crazy. He is not 100% believer, and he is not 100% unbeliever. He has seen a lot, and he's experienced a lot. He knows something's going on, but he was very open-minded, and he was also very supportive to me when I really needed support. When I was first coming out, he was very supportive. So I tell him we're just going to ignore it, because that's what I did my whole life. All the marks on my body, all the skin missing, all the geometric shapes, all the bruises, all the strange lights in the hallway, all the strange sounds, all the beings that I couldn't see that were touching me, all of that, my whole entire life, I just tried to ignore. And so that's what I was going to do with this red X. But 9 days later, I come to in my bedroom, ding, fully awake, completely alert. I describe it like being dropped into 3D reality from other dimension. And I'm dropped in completely wide awake. No grogginess, sleepiness, nothing. And when I wake up, I have this instant download, a memory that I was on a bed, a hospital type bed, and I was on my side, and I couldn't move my arms and I couldn't move my legs. And I sensed that there was something behind me. And I was in a room that I did not recognize, dimly lit, barely furnished. And when I sensed that there was something behind me, I realized I could move my neck. So I turned to look behind me, and standing right here, just inches from me, doing something to my back, was a gray. And we locked eyes. And in my book, I describe it like looking into two pools of black oil. And I was terrified. So I turned my head back around, and ding, I'm in my bedroom. And this download happens. When I looked into the gray's eyes, there was no telepathic communication. And up until then, all the contact I had with the grays included telepathic communication. But this time there was nothing. It was just staring me straight in the eyes, not communicating at all. And that really scared me. So here I am, wide awake, with this memory of being paralyzed on this bed with an alien behind me. And I am scared that there is another X on me. And I'm thinking to myself, if there is another X on me, I am not going to be able to take it. It will push me over the edge. I can't take this. I go downstairs and I wait for him to wake up, and he always got up before I did, but not this time. And I'm waiting for him, and I'm getting nervous and more nervous. And yes, I could have looked in the mirror and found out for myself if I had another X on me, but I was so scared, I didn't want to look. I didn't want to be alone when I found out. So he came downstairs, and I allowed him one sip of coffee. And then I started questioning him. Did anything weird happen last night? He goes, no. Was I missing at all? No. You didn't say anything? No. And he knew something was up. So I told him my memory. And I also said there's another part to this story that I've never known before in any of my other ET contact. And when I was on that bed in that room, I knew I was on the moon. And so with that, I asked him, will you look at my butt? And I'm very, very afraid. I bend over, and he's looking, and there's just silence, and he's not saying anything. And I'm starting to lose it. And I'm realizing there is another X. How am I going to deal with this? So finally, I practically yell, well, is there another X? And he says, yes, there is. There's another X, just like the first one. But this time, it's on your right cheek, and it's directly across the first one. So I had two red X's. Looked like they were burned into me, tiny little red dots that were equidistant on my tush. So when I saw the picture of the second X, I had an existential crisis. I didn't know what the truth was anymore. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I was doing talking to aliens in the middle of the night. I didn't know what they wanted with me. I was angry that they were messing with me. I was afraid of them. I didn't know who we were as a human race. I didn't know what was real anymore. It was like my entire fabric of reality was ripped out from underneath me in that moment. And I was free falling. It's very hard to describe. And he asks me, well, how can I help you? And I had no answer. I didn't know. I started crying out of frustration and fear, and I pulled myself together, and I declared for the first time in my life, I need help. I can't deal with this alone. And that's when I discovered Kathleen Martin, who helped me process everything that has happened to me and has helped me realize that all of this was for my benefit. And that was quite a journey. And because of Kathy's help, I now help experiencers, help them process their ET contact. So they realize this is beautiful, and there's so much to be gained from the knowledge and the love and the messages that ETs have for humans. They're here to help humanity. And that is my ET story that changed my life.